Now I have the pleasure of introducing you to Garrett Rice. He's one of the co-founders of Callings.ai. It's an AI job search tool. I couldn't be more impressed with this job search tool. It does everything for you. And they continue to add features. Garrett is also doing so many things for the community of people in job search. They host weekly sessions, and he is truly generous with his time, his content, and always looking to add value through the tool too. It's a phenomenal tool. I've had a chance to play with it for quite some time, and I continue to be impressed with what it can do. And so it's kind of like an all-in-one tool. And I just wish more people would take advantage of it because it is phenomenal. I don't know of another tool like it. But Garrett's here with us. He's been here with us before. And this time he's really going to talk about visibility. We all know the biggest challenge in job search is getting people to know about you. And if they don't know about you, they can't pick you and they can't reach out to you. And it's not just about a great resume anymore. You've got to have a digital presence. So Garrett's going to share a little bit more with us and some of the new features of the Callings AI tool. So Garrett, thank you for being with us. Appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. And the floor is all yours.
Thank you, Christy. That was a heck of an intro. I really appreciate it, and I love working with Platinum and you guys. Um, I think this is my third or fourth time that I've had a chance to talk with the group, and it's great every time. So thank you so much for inviting me. Yeah, I think Christy nailed it. The our thesis, which we're pretty confident in, is that the fundamental challenge in the modern job market is being seen. And so our goal is to build a set of tools that help you with every aspect of the modern job hunt so that you can be successful in in getting your next opportunity. And so what I'm going to do is talk a little bit on slides today about the challenge of getting seen and how to think about it. And then I'll show you some of the aspects of our tool. You guys are welcome to try out Callings. For PRG members, you get 30 days of premium access to our platform. So this is the title today: Getting Seen, Marketing Yourself in a Job Hunt. And here's the URL. And if you use that URL, when you register for the first time, it should provision your account for 30 days of premium access. If for any reason you have challenges with that, you'll notice my email down below, Garrett@Callings.ai, and you can email me and I will make certain that you get your time on the platform. So definitely try it out. You can follow along with me, et cetera, if you're interested. Um, so let's talk about visibility and getting seen in the modern job market. So let me start by explaining what we've been doing at Callings. Our goal is to build a platform for candidates to help them get seen. And there's a number of different ways that that happens. And our approach is to build an integrated, comprehensive AI-powered career platform so that all the different steps in your job hunt are in one place. You can manage your job hunt in one place. One of the things that we heard early on when we were building Callings is the average job seeker uses 16 different tools and services to get their job. And our feeling is if you're trying to use 16 different tools and services, then you're not really using anything very well. So we're trying to build a comprehensive platform for that. We do things like help you understand yourself, which I'll show you, which is the personal insights feature. The first step in any job hunt is being able to understand where you're going, how to articulate your value proposition. And so that's one thing that we do on the platform. Um, I'm going to show you a lot of stuff about branding and marketing yourself today because it's no longer sufficient for you to just put yourself out there with applications. You have to tell your story publicly. Networking, of course, is a critical component of a job hunt. 70 to 80% of successful job hunts include some form of networking. But we also have over 12 million, actually now 13 million job opportunities on the platform. So we've collected what we think is one of the best inventories of job opportunities available. And most of those jobs are available from hiring sites. So our goal is to not bring you to other job boards or bring you into the job advertising system, but to find actual opportunities at the hiring sites. We can help you with your resume. Um, a big part of the modern job hunt is going after opportunities that are not listed publicly, the quote unquote hidden job market. We have tools for that. We track it all in one place so you don't have to build your own spreadsheet to track your job hunt. We do interview preparation. And as Christy mentioned, we get together every week on Monday at noon and have a community session and networking session called a calling circle, which we average between 20 and 30 people a week join us to just talk through the job hunt, go through best practices, brainstorm. Bill is often there for that and is hugely valuable to us because he's learned a lot about the job hunt. So those are the things that our platform does. And what I want to talk about now is to really just go through this concept of visibility. Um, Visibility wins. It's the most important trait in the modern job hunt, more than your actual skill set or your background or what you've accomplished, because if people can't see it, it doesn't matter. So opportunities go to people who are visible, who are trusted, who are remembered, who are recommended, and who are easy to advocate for. And so keep that in mind in your job hunt that a big part of your goal in a job hunt is to be seen and to get out there your value proposition. So so that's the premise of today that I want to talk about. Why is this the case? Well, technology has taken over the job industry. So um, everything is automated, everything is processed online. And so the result is that there's a huge influx of applicants for every single job that's posted. 250 or more applicants per job post, according to Greenhouse. And for the popular companies, the number is in the thousands. So every job you apply to directly is a lottery. And your job is to get out of that pile of resumes that they have and be seen by the hiring manager, the recruiter. And so you have to take other action besides just applying to do that. 75 to 80% of all of the applications that are submitted for a job are never seen by a human being. So these applicant tracking systems or HR systems that evaluate and sort through resumes, increasingly companies use them on automation so that they can get through it because they can't possibly consider 250 people or more for a role. So they use technology to sort through and give them, the top picks. And that technology is not super brilliant. In many cases, it can let a lot of really qualified candidates fall through the cracks. And the vast majority of people who submit are ghosted. They don't even respond. So you submit into a black hole. The average job search today is 5 months or more. And for white collar workers or executives, that search is much longer, could be a year or more. And so, this is the visibility crisis in the modern job hunt is there's a lot of people out there who are super qualified and looking for a role who just never get a chance to tell their story. And so, how actually hiring happens is, a lot of people go in thinking the best resume wins, the most qualified gets hired. They apply and wait, and your process is to apply, wait, and interview. And that HR reads every application, and you're really getting consideration. When in reality, that is not true. Visibility, familiarity, and trust win. Referrals get the interviews. You're 4 times more likely to be considered for a job if you are referred by somebody inside the company, 4 times more likely. Um, and then timing and perceived fit matter. And recruiters search for candidates now more than going through the people who've applied. And this is I call it the wife mistress problem, right? Which is they're much more excited about the person that they see and can go and chase than they are about the people that are interested in applying. And so this is the reality of the job hunt. Hiring is a human process driven by trust, recognition, and relationships. And so you need to bring that into focus, into bear in your job hunt. So spray and pray for applications doesn't work. Generic resumes, and of course, today don't work. You have to be angled and positioned for specific jobs. Every job that you apply to, you have to make certain that your LinkedIn profile is active. Open to work is not a strategy. The recruiting system is about how you appear to them. And I'm going to talk about that, interestingly enough, to make certain that LinkedIn surfaces you in searches. You actually have to be active on the platform. So if you're not active on LinkedIn, then the algorithm will not make you show up when recruiters are looking. Um, and so, passive candidates just get passed over. And the idea of a silent job hunt is passe. You have to let people know you're out there. So here are 5 different ways that you need to be visible. The number one is recruiter visibility. You have to show up in LinkedIn searches and applicant tracking system queries. So that's all about the story you tell and the visibility you get. You need to be internally visible at companies you're applying to. You need to have an advocate carry your resume to the hiring manager and the recruiters inside the company. If they see you, then you move out of the pile. Number 3, you have to have a network. You have to have warm intros and trusted connections happening for you, and that takes work. Number 4, you have to have social visibility, which is all about being a thought leader and having content and an opinion that matters for your area of expertise. And number 5, you have to be seen by the algorithm. So these social media sites, especially LinkedIn, they have to recognize that you're there. And so that's all about optimizing for the AI tools and that surface candidates. So those are 5 different ways that you need to be seen. And we're going to talk about how to do that today. Um, any questions so far on what I'm saying? I'm gonna show you examples of how to do all of this, by the way. I've
Yeah,
been told that
I
sometimes
have one, Garrett.
yeah,
I,
yeah,
I put it in the chat. You said you pulled the jobs from the directly from the company's websites, right?
yeah.
How many of you, how many companies are you pulling for or from?
I think something like 4 million companies all over the
Oh, okay.
globe. Yeah.
Okay. So more than theirstack.com does that.
I'm not familiar with
Okay.
that system, but yeah, this was a big deal for us. What we do, and I'll show you, is we're different than most job boards. We don't ask you to type in a bunch of names and then do a Boolean search. We actually semantically use AI to look at your resume and then compare it against millions of jobs to find jobs you're qualified for. And so the feedback we got from our users is they love that and they want more and they want better jobs. And because job boards are advertising networks, they won't pull jobs that are filled because they're still getting paid to advertise them. So we didn't want to be in that game. We wanted to be in the game of finding high quality jobs that are actually open and available. And so we've spent the last 8 months building a system for that, and we're rolling it out right now. And I'll show you that in a little bit. Now, so what are the visibility systems that you can use to achieve the goal of being seen in those 5 different ways? One of them is human networks and referrals, real human beings talking to real human beings. It's easy to fall out of that in this modern market because of technology. So you have to, that's the number one with a bullet, is you've got to put yourself out there and talk to real human beings because they're the people who hire. Technology can sort you out. The people who bring you in are the actual hiring managers and human beings inside the company. Of course, you should be part of a professional community in your area of expertise. If you're a product manager, you should be part of the product manager community. If you're in finance, you should be part of the finance community. You should be vocal. You should be putting out there your area of expertise, your thought leadership. Um, you need to have a public reputation, number three, and be a thought leader with a positive bent on your industry. Why? Because those are the people that companies want to hire. They want to hire the person that's going to lead them forward in your area. Um, and then, of course, you want to make certain that as you apply to jobs, your applications are supported applications that get through, and that's all about keyword optimization, tailoring, and so, in other words, you need to be seen by real human beings directly, real personal connections. You need to be a professional in your community. You need to be a thought leader in your community. And then when you submit documents into these systems, you need to make certain that they have the right keywords and information on them to help you sort through the algorithms. So, those are the four visibility systems that are out there. You need to do what actions increase visibility, targeted networking. You need to make certain that for any job that you apply to, that you are reaching out to people in that area to be seen. If you can get a warm intro, that's the gold standard. If somebody says this person is amazing, you should talk to them. People are desperate to not hire somebody and fail, right? So on the recruiting side, and Cindy and Christy, I'm sure know this better than anybody. You want to land the great candidate, and so referrals matter because if somebody believes in you and is advocating for you, it means you've left a positive and strong impression, and that's the type of person people want to hire because there's less risk in that. You need to tailor yourself for every role specifically. So if you find a job that you want to pursue, you need to create a marketing campaign for that specific job. You need to be visible and talk about the topics of the day related to your field. You need to have social proof about your talents, which is things like endorsements, recommendations, and comments about you that are positive. You need to show up and be consistent in talking about your industry. If there's a post from 7 months ago and nothing else in between, it seems like you're not engaged, and people notice. And then, of course, warm introductions. If you can get somebody to bring you in, that's everything. So I'll show you how to do all of that. Just a few statistics on networking. 70 to 80% of successful job hunts include some type of networking. Referrals make you 4 times more likely to get hired. Companies prefer referred candidates because of the risk involved in hiring. 46% of all hires at US companies are considered a failure after 2 years. So companies are desperate to hire the right people. Acquaintances actually often yield the best results, not because your friends aren't trying to help you, but because they may not be closely connected to an opportunity that you have. Follow-ups double your chances of a reply. So if you reach out to somebody, always reach out a second time if they don't respond. And then networking should follow all job applications you make. So anything you're pursuing, you need to connect with real people to get you in on that. And there's, of course, three types. There's warm networking, which is the people that you know, making intros for you. There's serendipitous networking, which is events like this, where you meet people serendipitously that may have a connection or may have an angle for you. So you need to put yourself out there and meet people because you just never know. On our one of our weekly events, somebody told the story of meeting somebody at a funeral. So a little bit morbid, but you never know when the person that has the connection is going to cross your path. And then targeted networking, which we have tools for on the platform, is all about every time you apply, you need to actively pursue people in the company. So we provide, the first step in all of this is to know how to talk about yourself, which is not easy oftentimes. It's not a standard thing that people don't like to talk about themselves in many cases. There's always those people that do, but most people, they're humble and they feel that somehow talking about themselves is bragging or that type of thing. And so you have to come up with a way of articulating yourself in the right way. And one of the things that I'm going to show you today is we provide an entire section of our platform called My Insights, which helps surface ways of talking about themselves. And what I've heard from our users is it's almost like a script that they can memorize, like an actor, right? Different ways of answering questions about your background, about your skills in a way that is positive and helps articulate yourself. And so we provide that. So, a common problem is saying things like, I have 10 years of experience, when you really want to talk about what you can do for the company. I'm a hard worker and a team player. I'm looking for my next opportunity. There's no clear differentiator in those types of things. There's no memorable story. And there's no forward-looking narrative or value proposition in those types of comments. Instead, you need to talk about your strengths, the direction that you're going, your identity as a leader that they want to hire, what differentiates you from other people, and your headline about what value proposition that you use. And we had a great webinar, which is on our site, by the way, by the famous recruiter Lee Adler, and he talks about this. That's all he talks about is that your goal is to leave an impression about what you can do for the company when you're interviewing. And so I can show you some of the tools we provide to surface that. We also provide, in addition to My Insights, another feature called My Campaign, which is all about promoting and advertising you. So the average hiring manager only looks at a resume for 5 to 7 seconds. So you only have a very short period of time to convey something about you that says, I want to interview this person. And of course, all applications, all pursuits of everything you do in your job hunt is not to get the job, it's to get the interview so that you can talk to the real people. And that's when, getting the job really starts happening. And so Callings.ai as My Campaign helps you do things like find companies and roles that you want to pursue, personalizes outreach templates, activity tracking, and pipeline. That's all built into the platform. But we also help you build a shareable professional identity page or brochure. It's beyond a resume because it shows your story and direction. It provides high quality graphics that at a glance can tell a story about you that's really positive. Um, we basically we provide tools so that your network can reach out on your behalf and introduce you. And it's all about making things that are easy to pass on so somebody knows how to promote you. We did a survey of the people helping job seekers, and the number one complaint is they don't know how to help. And so we're building tools to help your network promote you. And then we just recently launched a new feature called My Posts, which is about helping you generate an ongoing thought leadership system. We help you develop your messaging pillars that you want to talk about with your background, develop your posting voice, and then build a campaign of posts in which you're consistently talking about your areas of expertise over time in social media. And so I'm going to demo some of that as well today. So with that, I'll take a moment to answer any questions, and then I'll switch over to the actual platform so that you can see how that works. But
So there's a couple of questions, and
yeah,
so let me go ahead. And so Judy asked about the Slack communities. I know that's not a Callings AI thing, but
well, hang
she
tight. We've
wants to
got
know
some interesting
how
stuff
you.
coming there.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
So one of the next things we're going to work on is ways to find communities. I'll just leave it at that. But yes,
Okay.
there's Slack communities out there that you should sign up for and join. Online communities, Reddit communities, obviously in-person communities. I went to a networking event with 70 people this week in San Jose that was hosted. And so, yes, you should be a fixture in your area of expertise in the communities that are connected to that, and get out there because you just never know when people go there to find good candidates. Um, so definitely, I think that's correct. And I'll just go through
Okay.
um,
And then Mary has a question. How often are you updating the data from the career sites?
daily.
Daily. Okay. So it's
Yeah,
just
yep.
on
So
a
it's
routine.
taken longer than we had hoped, but we've been implementing a new job system that has better jobs, that we have better insight into when the jobs are posted, when they're unposted, which is a common problem that people have, is that they apply for a job and find out that it's no longer available. And so, we're excited to be able to roll that out, and I'll show you some of that here today.
All right.
And
Okay.
Judy
Well,
asked
let's,
about, or Michael, I'm sorry, asked about one of my slides. If it's valuable, I can provide my slide deck
it
to
would
Christine and
be.
Cindy, and you guys can
Yeah.
sort it out afterwards.
We absolutely, everyone would probably really benefit from this slide.
Yeah,
So that would be
my
great.
pleasure. My
Awesome.
pleasure.
Okay. We'll go into the demo.
Yeah, so when you first log into Callings, we ask for confidentially. We don't share it with anyone, and we don't train on your data. We ask for your resume or your LinkedIn profile, and that activates our platform. And once that happens, there are tools across four main buckets that we provide. And that, if you click on the home button here at the top, you'll see that the first thing we do is we have a whole set of tools that are all about you, articulating your personal brand, understanding yourself, where you're going, etc. And I'll show you some of those. The second bucket is finding job opportunities. And we have a number of different tools for that. And that's all about, um, you know, looking at opportunities out in the marketplace. The third thing is a set of tools for creating opportunities that may not be posted, the quote unquote hidden job market. And then the last bucket, which we're going to talk a lot about today, is how to promote yourself. And so we provide tools in each of those four categories. And you'll see that you can see different buttons here that take you to different parts of the platform so that if you know what you want to work on today in your job hunt, then you can quickly jump to each of those sections. So I'm going to spend most of the time today talking about my campaign and my posts, but just a quick overview on the platform. When you upload your resume, you can upload multiple resumes into our platform. What we do is we take your resume in, we convert it into a single column rich text format resume. Why? Because those are the resumes that are most likely to get through applicant tracking systems. So if you're disappointed that we've removed all the formatting in your resume, we do it for a very specific reason. A lot of times that formatting is going to get you rejected automatically. Um, if you don't like that, you can always take the information we provide and recommendations we make about your resume and update your resume with that. So, and we do a full assessment on your resume, a 6 second verdict, what's strong about it, what red flags might be there. And by the way, everybody has red flags on their resume because a resume is a take on you. And so if you focus on area A, then area B might be weaker. So don't look at it as necessarily a negative about your resume. It's just the areas that you might need to protect. We'll try and tell you what it says about you. We'll give you a scorecard, and then we actually have AI tools to help you improve your resume. If you click on them, we'll launch a whole AI system. And basically, using the Socratic method, our AI will ask you questions. And if you answer them in the chat, then we will rebuild your resume and make it better. So that's all built in. We can also do an applicant tracking system audit. And because we have, in some cases, people are pivoting or have different career paths, you can have multiple resumes, and we'll use all that information to tell the best version of you for any specific job. So that's all built in. We have a job tracker, which is a replacement for spreadsheets that most job seekers that we talk to are building themselves. And you can bring in jobs that we find for you. We have a plugin that allows you to bring in jobs from LinkedIn and Indeed, or you can click on this add jobs manually button and you can add jobs from third-party sites. So we don't care where you find the jobs. If you find a great job opportunity, we are here to help you get that job. We don't get paid by the job inventory that we have. We get paid by you as a job seeker, to help you get hired. So our point there is find any opportunity that you're excited about, that you want to pursue, whether it's jobs that we find for you or whether you find them yourself. We do find jobs for you. And if you click on the matching jobs button here, what we do is we use your resume and we find jobs that you're qualified for against millions of job opportunities. And so this is different than a lot of job boards where you have to enter something in and then get a result. We just go ahead and do the search for you. And we use AI to look at your resume and find them. And so you can quickly scroll through dozens of jobs and pick the ones that you're intrigued by. You'll notice here that there's a version 2. So this is still in beta, but this is the much larger job system. And that's 13 million jobs a day. So as you click on that, it'll take a moment to go through and look at your resume and compare against all of those. But then it'll start slowly bringing those jobs in for you. We're in the process of speeding this up. That's why it's beta software. But the goal is really to bring you job opportunities you're qualified for. And then you can just go ahead and click save to add that job to your job tracker. And you can hit preferences if you want to change the search or adjust the search. So that's this is our matching a job match system. And like I say, there's version 1 and version 2 has this gigantic inventory of jobs. So you can try both of those out on the platform. We also have over here in the left-hand side AI job search, and that's more traditional in the sense that you can type in what you're looking for in native English, and we'll search that large database. People use this because they might have a different angle on how they want to search for jobs. And so we think we give you a lot of different ways to search through and find job inventory. So once a job is in your tracker, this is kind of your target list. And for every job in your tracker, you can search and sort your list of jobs by the title, by when it was listed, when it was added, the company, the salary, et cetera, what the match score was. And and once those are in there, if you click on any job in the tracker, we provide powerful tools for each and every job. We show you what the job post is. So this is this Nerdio job, which I think is a funny name. And we show you so there's 5 tabs here: evaluate, prepare, network, interview, and notes. And so under the evaluate tab, we'll show you the actual posted job description and we'll highlight where you're strong or where you partially match, or in red where you don't match. We do a full job fit report against this particular job so you can see exactly where you are strong against this job and where you probably need to work on your story. And then we also do a full company report. We'll show you the Glassdoor ratings. So this is all about evaluating this job. If you hit the Prepare tab, you will find that we have built for you a cover letter and a custom resume for this job. And so you have to be customized for every role you apply to. And so we do that for you. If you click on the edit button, we will show you everything that we changed in green and everything we deleted in red to your base resume to make you prepared for this job. And then you can just go through down section by section and either keep the original stuff you have in your resume or accept the suggestions, or this is a word processor and you can change them manually. So if you find too many M dashes, we are very conservative with our AI. Our goal is to make certain that your resume is authentic to you and your voice. But if for some reason there's something you don't like, you can always go in and rewrite it yourself. And we tell you exactly why we change things. So in this case, you're targeting a director of alliances management role. So, I shifted your lead sentence in one summary bullet to foreground scalable technology alliances and partner programs, because that's what they're asking for. So this is about steering your story to align with what they're asking for. Because you remember, every company you apply to has their own language about how to describe something. You always want to use the company language. So we do all of that. We give you a full AI tool set for your cover letter. You can prompt changes. You can rewrite it yourself. Once you're done, you can click apply. We'll take you to the site, and then you can submit your application. We do not do auto apply for a very specific reason. Companies are starting to block it. So they're watching to see if you yourself will submit the application. So we leave that for you to do. Once you've applied, I like to tell everybody, congratulations, your resume is now in a stack of 250 resumes. Nobody knows you exist. You have to be in the system to play. Um, we talked a lot at this week's calling circle. There's two ways to think about this. When you find a job you really want to apply to, it's probably worth reaching out to people in the company to find out if they have a referral system and how it works. Because half of the companies you have to be in the system for somebody to refer you, and in the other half, you have to be referred first and not in the system, otherwise they won't get paid. And of course, if somebody's referring you and gets a bonus for referring you, they have a strong motivation to recommend you. So I would click on this next tab, networking, because what we've done is we will go out, and that one doesn't have any. For every job in your tracker, we will generate 7 people at the company that we found searching LinkedIn and other sources that we think can help you inside this company. And these are people that are often the recruiters, the hiring managers, people on the team. So we're not just looking for the people in the company, we're looking for people on this team in the company. And so for these 7 people, we tell you who they are, what outreach strategy we'd recommend, what you have in common with them, what their interests are, what their work history is. And then you can click on this reach out button, and we will generate an outreach message for you that you can edit and prompt to make changes till it's perfect. And then when you hit this open draft email, we will actually go and find the email address for this person so that you don't have to use InMail, which is increasingly crowded and people aren't responding to. And so this gives you a chance to directly reach out to the people at the company to say, hey, I'm interested in this job. Would you talk with me? And my recommendation is if you're going to apply for a job, reach out to all 7 people, because your goal is to get inside. And remember, any one of those people, if they carry your resume to the hiring manager, puts you in prime position to be considered. Because once the hiring manager sees your resume, then you've jumped out of the pile. And so this is the targeted networking tools that I talked about, and you should use them for every job you apply to, and you should use them liberally. In addition to that, if you click My LinkedIn Contacts, we will take you to LinkedIn and show you the people at this company that you're 1, 2, or 3 degrees separated away from. And that allows you to use your own network to network in. And so think of it this way, if there's a job you're interested in, you should be reaching out to as many people as possible for that job. And we provide the tools to do that. And so, in studying this with our users, our belief is certainly within a half an hour, you should be able to apply to a job using our tool with really accurate information and resume. And then we think that it probably only takes 15 minutes to reach out to all of the people at that company that you're connected to. And our goal, therefore, is that if you could apply to, say, 2 or 3 jobs a day and reach out to those 5 to 7 people, then suddenly you've increased your network every day by 15 people. And you're playing odds, right? You're a salesperson, right? You're making calls every day with the understanding that not everybody will respond, but if a few people do, you're building your pipeline. So that's the part of callings which is around applying to jobs. And then we also provide a market fit report for you where you can apply to jobs that aren't listed, and I'll show you a little bit more about that. Now, I'm not going to cover any more about sort of the job pursuit business because I really want to get into what we talked about, which is the advertising piece. So I mentioned My Insights to you. What is it? It's an entire report about you. We read your resume, we create a questionnaire, and if you take the time to answer the questionnaire, we create incredibly accurate reports about what your goals are in a job hunt, what your market fit is in a job hunt, and by the way, that includes the industries that are hiring, so you know which ones to pursue. We do a full ideal job report for you, which says what an ideal job might look like. And then we provide a detailed report on brand elements, a 20-second elevator pitch for you, a 2-minute longer pitch, a professional summary. We write headlines for you. What makes you unique? We call that out. Top 10 skills that you have, top 10 achievements, and then even a persona, a way of describing in one phrase who you are. And what our users do is they print this out and it gives them a way of talking about themselves because, again, that's not natural. And this is part of this marketing process, which is it's not a natural process to talk about yourself. So you need the materials and you need to practice it. And we give you that. So what I would recommend you all do is go to callings.ai/PRG, create an account and upload your resume and take a look at your brand elements and the other elements of the My Insights section, because these will be the materials that help you get started in telling your story. Once you have the high level pitch about your value propositions, you can then also work to tell the detailed stories, this quote unquote star stories, where, I was in this situation, I came up with this action, here were the results, right? And so, my situations, tactics, actions, and results. And you should have those stories about your background so that when people ask you, well, what did you do in this role that made a difference at your company, you can answer those. And so this is a big part of the self-marketing section, and I encourage you to look into it in detail. And hopefully that'll help you remind yourself that you're a incredibly talented person with a lot of great background. Because in a job hunt, it's very easy to get down on yourself. And so I would go to My Insights and play around with that, and that helps you tell your story. We also do full job market reports for you, so you can see what's going on in your area relating to the job market. And so that's all part of My Insights. So I encourage you to look at those and use that as the starting point for your story. I'm sorry, did somebody have a comment?
Get to the new stuff, Garrett. Come on.
All right. So now, what do we help you do with all of this stuff? The first thing that we do is we recognize that you need to do more than just understand yourself. You need to put yourself out there. And so we have created a thing called My Campaign to help you do that. And My Campaign is a creation of a public marketing brochure of you. It's a website that's completely editable, and it looks something like this for me, right? So I used my resume, but I anonymized it. So this is Jonathan Doe. We create a high quality graphic that at a glance tells people what my value proposition is. We have headlines about who I am and what I'm good at. I call out what I'm looking for, why I am the right choice in that area, call out the key highlights of my background. I give people access to my resume and at a glance, my work history, and also my thought leadership and my posts. And this is a website that you can customize for yourself. And when you go to My Campaign, we'll generate it for the first time. We'll ask you to upload a photograph of yourself so we can create images that have a likeness. And then you can go in and edit all of these headlines. You can, on each of these sections, you can use AI in the left-hand side to prompt improvements that you want to have to get it exactly right. We generate these images for you, and we give you all sorts of different styles. So by default, we'll create a action figure of you that calls out the best parts of your career. But you can also choose, 17th century copperplate imagery, career flow imagery, which shows you the main sort of skill sets that you have, baseball card, cartoon, movie poster. I like this infographic. And you can generate any of these on our platform to tell your story better. And once you select those, you bring that in. And when you're done building your site, what you can do is hit preview, and then we'll show you what it looks like. And then if you click on this button right here, you can make the site visible. Now, what do you do with it? Our recommendation is to use the My Campaign functions once you've built your site. First and foremost, to send it out to the people in your own network. And you do that by clicking on this button, and we'll actually generate outreach messaging for you saying, hey, I've generated this calling card is what we call that page. I would love your help in getting the word out that I'm looking for my next opportunity. And you can then generate that and send that out to your network. When they arrive at the site, they have the opportunity to help you. So think of this as Kickstarter for your job hunt. They can introduce you by clicking on Introduce Jonathan button. And what we'll do is we'll say, these are the types of people Jonathan wants to meet with, or they can type in their own. And then we'll generate outreach messaging for your friends to send so that they don't have to think about it. What we heard when we talked to the helpers of job seekers is all I do is sometimes get a resume in the mail and I don't know what they're looking for, what their value proposition or who they want to meet. So we've solved all of those problems for you. If they want to, they can repost you on LinkedIn or the other social media, and we'll generate that outreach message for them. And so hopefully your network will start promoting you. You can also go here to promote yourself on social media and post your calling card on places like LinkedIn. And our users are telling us that when they do that, they get a pretty surprising number of responses. People are excited to see it, especially because of the graphics. Bill, I think you had said that you'd seen a lot of engagement with your calling card when you posted it.
Yes, that's correct.
So I encourage you to build a calling card, post it on LinkedIn, let people know you're looking. And this is much better than open to work because you're telling people what your skill set and value proposition is, right? And so it's less of a bag and more of a brag. And so this is my campaign, and we're adding to it. In the future, we're gonna allow you to build your own personal website with your own portfolio. So that'll all be part of the My Campaign system. But the goal is really to help you put yourself out there with a more presentable way than just a resume, because a resume is just text. It doesn't, and most people don't read them. So that is My Campaign. And then we've just recently added this product, which is called My Posts. So once you're out there and you're advertising yourself, you need to become a thought leader. And that is not necessarily an easy thing to do. What do I post? What do I say? So what we do with My Posts is we help you generate the first set of things we help you generate is your themes. So we look at your resume and make suggestions about what you could talk about. If you're a product manager, we make suggestions on what you could talk about as a product management in the product management field. I have alliances in my background, so it's telling me, you should talk about the structure or the architecture of building an alliance. I have a lot of storytelling in my background, so that's a whole topic that I could talk about. If you click on new theme, we will actually call things out from your resume or give you the opportunity to enter in things you want to talk about. Now, I would encourage you to build your themes around your career and where you want to get a job. So it's not if you are in your private life, you look after help people adopt dogs, you could make that a theme, but make certain that that's intermingled with career oriented stuff as well. And so for me, our AI has called out these aspects from my resume and my background that I could talk about. And if I, for example, go to market execution, if I click on that, if I add a specific angle, right? So maybe SEO, it will generate a new theme for me to talk about. And this brings up an AI system. And so the first step in my posts or creating a thought leadership system for you is building the things, the pillars or themes that you want to talk about. And so in this particular case, I've learned a lot in the recent months about SEO to help get callings more recognized. And so that's a new theme for me, and that will show up down here. And so I have 6 themes that I've created. And then once I have my themes, I can go into the post section and create new posts that will go out onto LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, etc. And you'll see that I've already got posts that I've already developed. If I click on new post, I'll pick one of the themes that I've created to make my post about. So I'll pick on SEO. And then we ask you what's on your mind. What do you want to talk about? Do you want to type your own idea? Do you want us to surprise you with a topic? Do you want to talk about a current trend, something from your background? a bold take or a recent article, and then we'll actually use AI to help you generate these. So I'm going to use something from a recent article, and we'll go out and find a recent article. And you can pick whether you want something like in Twitter format, very short, medium format, which is like LinkedIn, or a long format, which might be a Substack article. I'm going to do a LinkedIn article, and then you have a choice of how should it sound. So you're basically kind of navigating the different elements of this post. And so I want it to be instructional. I could have made it auto, which would let our AI pick. But if I create a draft of that, it will then go out and using AI, take all my background, search out there to find articles about SEO, and it will generate a new post for me. And I just need to wait for the AI to do that. Once it generates the post, I have the option of rewriting it myself, which I encourage you to look at to make certain it's your voice. And you can also prompt changes in the left-hand side here. We also have this thing, Ghostwriter, which basically um, is different workflows for helping you improve the post. And the one I like the most is Interview Me. And if you click on that, our AI will actually walk you through questions to narrow down this post. And so the squirrels on the running wheel in our background of our AI are a little slow today. Um,
And Garrett, we have just under 5 minutes
okay,
remaining.
okay.
Garrett, I've been answering questions in the chat for you, so
Oh, thank you, Bill. I wasn't paying attention to the time. I
Yeah,
figured
I
that
know. No, it's fascinating. People are really,
I
really impressed. It's wonderful.
there we go. So it's found an article about SEO. It's written a post for me about that, and then I can create a cover image for that post, and we'll generate that for you, or you can upload an image of your own or prompt that. And then the last thing is you can connect your LinkedIn, and we also have our own posting system, and you can connect those, and it will post it for you. We also have a posting calendar, so you can actually schedule a series of posts. If you spend a day making 3 or 4 posts, you can schedule them over a period of a couple of weeks. Remember that LinkedIn's algorithm, AI algorithm, wants you to post at least 1 or 2 times a week to make you a high profile person. And and of course, if you're a high profile person on LinkedIn, you show up in dramatically more recruiter searches and hiring manager searches. So this also hopefully gets people talking about your opinions on LinkedIn, which are people in your industry. And and so hopefully you start to get to be known for the things that you're talking about in your industry. And so that's all built into my posts. Um, I fear I didn't leave enough time for questions, but hopefully this shows you ways that you can promote and market yourself, network. That's all built into the platform. And we get together every Monday at noon Pacific time. So that if you have questions, you can join the community and get questions answered about the platform or about your job hunt. We also do webinars very often, and and then there's this get feedback button if you're really stumped that you can click, and that will go right to us, and we'll try and answer your question inside the system. So there's much, much more than I've shown you today, but happy to turn it over to questions.
Garrett, there's
We
one question from Lorraine that I wasn't able to answer about consulting roles and fractional roles, and how do you deal with those, and how do you find those using the platform?
Yeah, thank you, Lorraine. We do have fractional roles and consulting roles listed as part of the 13 million jobs in our system because a lot of people post those roles. Of course, there's also places like Upwork where you can go to find those types of opportunities as well. And so, but yes, as part of the preferences, you can choose inside of our system to see part-time roles and contract roles.
so we are out of time. And Garrett, this has been really, really informative. We've got to have you back. And we know that.
Anytime.
And so we'll work on that, Garrett. And so for all of you, join Callings AI, we get nothing out of it. This is really about you, and it's another community for you to be a part of. The tool is phenomenal. They continue to add features, and Bill knows he's like the probably the biggest super user that Collings has. And he's been able to leverage it so much. So don't hesitate to reach out to Bill Laser as well. And but
Bill's kind
Garrett,
of an
thank
expert on
you.
the job hunt, so
Yeah, it's wonderful. So everyone, we are dark next week because of the holiday, and but the following week we have a speaker that's going to be talking again about visibility and and your energy. And this is, because job search is high stakes, right? And she'll be talking about energy and how you show up and things like that. So all of these are complementary and they're all beneficial. As we can see from the community, there's lots of people curious about job search. People want more assistance with their job search. The game is completely different than it used to be. And Garrett's team is really addressing that, and the tool is really addressing that. And visibility is game. You know what? I just want to make one comment, Garrett. So many people have worked on their profile and their resume, but they're not posting. So the fact that you've added that as a feature, because that does, I mean, Ganesh, who has spoken many times as well, talks about you've got to feed the LinkedIn algorithm and post things that are in your lane. It's not just posting randomly, but you've got to post things in your lane, and that will help raise your profile settings and in
become a thought
LinkedIn.
leader.
So
Yeah,
yeah, a thought
thought
leader.
leader in
And
your area.
someone reached out to me and said, "You'll never believe this." I commented on a post and then somebody saw my profile as a result because they liked my comment. And that person, I got the job ultimately because that recruiter reached out and I seemed to be a fit for their role. And things like this are happening. And those are the ones that I know about. But Garrett, thank you. We will send out
Thank you.
Garrett's deck. We will send out Garrett's contact information. We'll send out the link. Use the tool, involved with the community there. And reach out to Bill, who's Mr. Super User, and just make good things happen. And thank you. Enjoy the 4th of July.
Yes, happy 4th, happy 250th.
Yeah, happy
And let's
250th.
keep that spirit and leave the noise outside. Need I say more?
So, and thank you all, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks. And don't hesitate to reach out to me, Cindy, or anybody on the team. Thank you, everyone.
All right, cool. Thanks. Take care.